Sending data, sending data, sending data. And we're live.
Ooh.
Hooray! I figured it out! Oh my
Let's see if
god.
I can figure out how to.
Oh my god, man. It was. Yeah, we're not going to. Actually, you know what? We're not going to do that again. We're not going to take 20 minutes and talk about how the technical issues. I figured it out. I figured out that Hangouts isn't gone. Hangouts just doesn't automatically connect to YouTube anymore. But anyway, welcome to Culture Clash, everybody. This is the show where we try to bring you some stories from nerd culture news, but usually just go off on some random tangent. Because that's how we roll. I'm your host, Comic Book Bob. Join me as my co-host for Nerd Culture Class, Tom the Immortal Cummings. And yeah, we should not suck this week. Yeah, don't quote me on that though. Okay, so a couple interesting things happening this week.
Oh, hello, by the way.
Oh, somebody's already talking. It's like, hello there.
No, it's just me. I just realized that I hadn't said anything yet, so I'm here. Not to worry.
Okay. Can't find supported channels enabled. What?
So what's going on in the world, Rob?
Bob.
I gotta get used to calling you Bob.
Yeah, it's just easier, more personable. Not much, man. Just had a typical day driving my pops around, getting some stuff. Holy crap, man! That friggin' thunderstorm that went through. That thing was a deluge. Oh my god.
Well, I heard alerts on the radio, but frankly, where I worked, we got some rain. But yeah, the EBS warnings were like, nope, because it missed this part of Illyria.
But yeah, it was pretty crazy. But cool. Yeah, we're okay. I'm just verified. We're on Twitch. We're doing good on Twitch. Let's check out the live. Make sure we're running over there. And we're running over there.
And you're on
sweet
on YouTube. I'm watching us there. So
there. Hi, CBB. What? I said hi to myself.
No, I said hi to you.
Oh, okay. That's right. Because you're logged in. You're logged into my
Right.
You're logged into my chat thing. So okay.
Cool. Ooh, I can be you. I can say bad things to people.
The power. Okay, so some interesting stories that came down the pipe this last couple of days. But one of the things that I wanted to go over real quick was the Teen Titans, the Titans season 2 trailer, quote unquote leaked. I don't think it was leaked so much as they put it out there to kind of gauge the reception. And I watched it, and not all of it sucks.
Well, that's positive.
Well, let's go ahead and mute it here. We'll go ahead and walk through a little bit of it. I have some concerns, being the uber comic book nerd that I am. But let's go ahead. First off, let's talk about Jorah Mormont here as Bruce Wayne. Homie doesn't look like Bruce Wayne to me. Homie looks like Alfred. And unfortunately, this and like I said, it was quote unquote leaked, so the quality isn't like great.
Yeah.
But just looking at his facial features and stuff.
Yeah, he looks more Alfred.
and if you heard the audio, he's speaking with his accent.
Oh, his British accent.
Yeah, so it's Jorah Mormont speaking, just like he did when he was playing Jorah Mormont. So I'm like, I'm not buying you as Batman, bro. I'm sorry, but yeah. So and here's the thing, I like him as an actor. I think Jorah Mormont on Game of Thrones was awesome. I'm not feeling this, man. I'm not feeling him as Bruce Wayne. So then going forward, I hate Jason Todd. I'm sorry. I'm one of the people that voted to kill him back in the day when he got beat to death by the Joker with a crowbar. And I know that there are people that like him. He came back as the Red Hood. I don't mind him coming back as the Red Hood. I just think he worked better when he was a villain. Because when he first came back, he was a villain.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs to go away. I'm sorry. So now this was cool. This is one of the things I was like, okay, I'm digging that. This is Wonder Girl. This is Donna Troy in the original Wonder Girl, in a version of the original Wonder Girl outfit, and I'm kind of digging that. I like that. That's nice. That's a nice little callback. Okay,
Okay.
and we get a couple of, is it Robins fighting Robins here? Yep. So we got Tim and not Tim, but we got Dick and Jason fighting. Hawk and Dove are back. Hawk was one of the positives from the last from the last season, from the season one. They actually did Hawk pretty good. Dove was the one I had a problem with because Dove is a pacifist and she was straight up murking people. So that's a problem. But as far as him, the way he acts and everything, they got him pretty good. This, I'm of two minds on this one. Because one, I like the fact that Donna and Corey, aka Starfire, are working together. Because that's, like teamwork and like the way they work together and everything is cool. But it looks like they're trying to like the big issue that a lot of people had is that she just didn't they hated her costume. They hated her look last season. It was awful, and it straight up was awful. She looked like a hooker. It looks like they're trying to split the difference, and she's got mostly normal clothes. Now I've seen some pictures of her wearing a more accurate outfit and the more accurate hair. And if they do that, cool. But if they try to do this street clothes thing, man, I don't know. I'm not down with that. Also, please just use some makeup and give her like a golden hue, like a highlight to her skin. All right. There's a reason why they called Starfire Goldie. All right. She was. You don't have to paint her. I'm one of those people that's not. I'm not on board with the whole thing. You need to body paint the poor woman every single episode. But you can use just like foundation and stuff to just give her kind of like a golden highlight to her skin.
Just some shading.
Yeah.
Highlight. There you go.
Yeah.
Some highlights.
Some highlight. All right. I also don't like the fact that they said that she's not going to fly, because flying is part of who Starfire is. The other thing, tell me if I'm wrong about this. Look at the way she punches this guy. That's not. It just looks odd to me. I wish I could slow it down. Like, this isn't a punch. This is more like a fist slap.
Well, it was more like it has no follow through.
Yeah.
They just need to work on the choreographing a little bit. That's all.
Yeah. Then we get our first. I get a look here at Aqualad. Beast Boy turning green. Which here's my thing with characters. If you can't do them right, I don't think you should do them. And Beast Boy last season, he didn't do much. He wasn't doing much Beast Boying.
Yeah.
He was just kind of
dude that was there.
Dude that was there and occasionally turned into a tiger. All right, so this is a problem for me. Connor Kent does not fit with this group. Okay, if you've read the comics and everything, you know that Connor was originally part of a group called Young Justice with Tim Drake Robin and Casey Sandsmark Wonder Girl and Bart Allen as Impulse. Those characters had a really cool dynamic together. That dynamic's not going to fit with the original, quote unquote original core members of the Titans. It's not going to work. It's not going to work right, in my opinion. And also, you don't need to be introducing more characters. I mean, you've got like 7 core characters, or people who should be
That's
core characters.
that's a bit much.
Yeah, now you're gonna add. Now that you're adding Aqualad, you're adding um, Connor Kent, Superboy. You're adding Rose Wilson, Deathstroke's daughter, um, Ravage. I mean, and that's who this is right here. This is supposed to be Rose Wilson. So now your cast is up to about 10 people.
Which I mean, you can do that. You can certainly pull that off with 10 people, but if you're going to do that, what you need to do at the beginning of each season is pick 4 that are going to be your main characters.
Yeah,
And then
and
the other 6 are all like side characters. Or you could do like Star Trek where you have really just like 3 or 4 really main characters.
yeah,
And then everybody else gets an episode once a season.
yeah. It's one of those things where it's like,
But then again, I don't know what the episode counts on this is, because if you're going to do like a lot of shows have been doing, where it's like, oh, here's a season, 8 episodes. That's not a season.
yeah, and it's, I don't know, man. The inclusion of Connor Kent is a bad idea in my opinion. But moving on. Well, if I can get back to the window. Okay. Crypto, Rose again. Looks like training, Hawk and Dove. And Dove is over here kicking the crap out of somebody again, which doesn't make sense because she's supposed to be a pacifist. So it said that this is supposed to be Dr. Light. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, that costume looks awful. That looks like that's almost Doctor Who, early seasons of Doctor Who awful. Okay.
Well, at least they were 30 years ago, so, well, 40 years ago.
That wig looks awful. Okay, so let me get the cool walking in, and then this is the thing that made me go, okay, you guys are really doing this wrong. This is supposed to be Deathstroke. And admittedly, it's dark, so we can't get a real good look at him, but it looks kind of weird. Now I think we've been maybe a little.
That's another thing. You do have to remember this is a TV show, so it's not going to have the same production
Yeah.
value as a major motion picture. Quite frankly, for a TV show, I think that's pretty good.
Um, and what are we doing here? Sorry, I'm flipping around. I shouldn't be doing that. Here's the thing. Like I said, I'm a big Titans fan. I'm a big comic book fan. I'm a big Batman fan. We've been kind of spoiled with Deathstroke because the version of Deathstroke that was on the Arrow show was actually really good. And the look that he had on that show was really good. This looks like cosplay to me. The version that we got on the Arrow TV show, he was very tactical. He looked like a super soldier. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just the fact that they could do that there. I'm looking at this going, why can't you do this here? This looks like he's got a bunch of foam armor parts on him. And again, I will couch this by saying this again. We don't know what this is going to look like in the light. This is a pretty dark. Image here.
What? DC? Being literally dark?
Yeah, but I don't want to spend too much time on this. again, the feeling I get from this is meh. You know, I'm just like, okay, whatever, man. Season one was all. I thought season one was awful. Season two looks like it's gonna be a little bit better, but still not great. And especially when you compare this show to Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol was fantastic in my opinion, and this show compared to Doom Patrol kind of sucks. So, but yeah, I saw this drop, and I saw some people commenting on it. Pope Fire, she lost her friggin' little nugget.
Because I was also about to say this is a drop. We're less than a month away from when it starts.
Yeah,
and it's a oh sorry this leaked.
Yeah, it's a quote unquote leak.
Yeah, that.
That's not a leak. That's a release.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
Okay, so on to something more little more interesting to me. Andy Serkis officially signs to direct Venom 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I was not under the impression that Andy Serkis did a whole lot of directing. Now, as a friggin' actor, as a motion capture actor, he's freaking amazing. The guy
I've seen him in some other stuff where he's actually. Well, I actually liked him as the bad guy from Black Panther and.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Like as an actor, just period as an actor, Andy Serkis is pretty freaking good. But I think it's and again, like I said, it's when he does that motion capture acting, that the physical acting, is when he is just like he's in a class by himself. You know, like him and Doug Jones.
Yeah, didn't he do the motion capture for Kong?
Yep, he did the motion capture for Gollum. He did the motion capture for Kong. God, he did the motion capture for a ton of stuff. He did the motion capture for the apes for Caesar.
Caesar and
in Planet of the Apes. Yeah, I mean the dude's like I said, when it comes to like motion capture acting, like physical acting, it's him and Doug Jones, and then they're both on a whole nother level from everybody else. Let's look at this article real quick. Turns out that Tom Hardy did jump the gun when it comes to revealing who is going to direct Venom 2. There was a short list going around that included Travis Knight, who directed Bumblebee, and Rupert Wyatt, who directed Captive State. But it seems that the third name is the one that came out on top in the end, according to Variety motion capture master Andy Serkis has signed on to direct Venom 2 for Sony Pictures. That's interesting to me. This is actually pretty cool. Sony has already announced that screenwriter Kelly Marcel is returning, and Woody Harrelson is back to play the villain Carnage. That could be cool. Okay, now I'll be honest with you. I was not a big fan of Venom. I didn't think it sucked, but it was not great. And I think the reason why so many people liked it was the fact that the fact that we got a Venom that was even close to what was in the comics. I think a lot of fans were like, "Okay, we love this. We love that it's like the comics." But the storyline was kind of generic. The villain was meh. And it's to me, you can't have Venom without Spider-Man. You just can't. I know there's a lot of people that will argue that point with me, and like I said, there was a lot of people that liked the movie because it made over, and like it says right here, it made over $850 million. So,
well, I was about to say, yeah, you kind of have to have Spider-Man in there somewhere.
Yeah,
you just can't have it just like, and here's Venom all by himself, just
be
free.
Well, that's what they did.
Run amok. Yeah,
that's what they did, and that's why in my personal opinion, it doesn't work. But it didn't suck. It was better than I thought it was going to be. It just wasn't great. The scene at the end with Woody Harrelson, that was really cool to me. I thought that was pretty slick. Woody Harrelson, he's maybe a little too old for Cletus Cassidy, but he's got that thin look to his face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of gaunt.
And that's the thing about Cassidy, and Woody Harrelson can play a good crazy person, man. I mean, go watch.
Oh yeah.
Was it? Now my brain doesn't want to work.
Natural Born Killers.
Natural Born Killers. Thank you. Go watch Natural Born Killers if you want to see him play a good sociopath. So him as Carnage is pretty cool. I like this idea. They're going to start filming this fall, and the movie's supposed to come out. Like I said, October 2020. I'm actually more interested in this movie than I was in the original.
Hmm.
So in that, they've done their job, because the whole idea is you want to build off the original and make it better.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can't tell you if he's directed anything else. So I can't tell you if he's going to be any good, but I gotta believe that at least the way that they move and stuff, and like the physical acting in the movie is going to be friggin' awesome. Because he's behind the friggin' wheel. So, yeah, I saw this and I was like, okay, you know what?
That could work.
I wasn't on board with Venom, but I'm on board with Venom too. So, I hate being on this site. There's so many pop-ups and stuff, dude. You have to wade through pop-ups when you go on Bleeding Cool. Actually, you know what Bleeding Cool reminds me of? Did you see Ready Player One?
Yeah.
Okay, the scene where the bad guys talk about how we could cover this much of the screen without creating seizures. That's what this site reminds me of. I hate this site. What? What's up?
No, I just said
But okay, so let me open that. Open that in a new tab. I'm just checking to see if anybody's saying anything and we're missing it.
Nope, nobody yet. We got one watching.
Okay. Yeah, it's a weird day. But okay, so next piece of news. Nick Frost and Simon Pegg are reteaming again. The guys from Shaun of the Dead are back. See, look at this. Look at all these freaking pop-ups I gotta close. God, and this one I can't close. It says close, but I click on it and it doesn't do anything.
Oh, there it went.
Okay. Anyway, so this just dropped. They're doing a new series. They're coming back together for a new series. It's a comedy horror series called Truth Seekers, and it's kind of making fun of like ghost hunters and
yeah.
It's the paranormal investigators. Let's go ahead and read a little bit of this.
This could be good.
Yeah, considering these two guys, they're so good together.
Mm-hmm.
This could be awesome. Nick Frost and Simon Pegg are reuniting for Truth Seekers, a horror comedy television series about paranormal investigators, with Amazon Prime Video landing international rights. Amazon Prime has been doing some good stuff, man. Have you watched any of Cobra Kai?
Nope.
Dude, that's good old fashioned throwback fun. First season of Cobra Kai was really, really good. Second season was a little less interesting to me, but it was still good. I'm gonna tell you what, man. And his name's escaping me right now, but the guy who plays Johnny from the Karate Kid, mm-hmm. he's actually the main character of Cobra Kai. Daniel LaRusso is like the co-star, but he's the co-star. The real character is Johnny from Karate Kid, and he does a really good job, man. Like, you have to go check that series out, that show out if you get a chance to. It's pretty cool. But let's get back to this. Set in the UK, Frost plays Gus, one half of a ghost hunting duo who teams up to uncover and film paranormal sightings across the country. They stake out haunted churches, underground bunkers, and abandoned hospitals with their instruments to detect paranormal activity while filming on their online channel. Pretty much, like we said, that's Ghostbusters. What seems to be isolated incidents at first ties into a growing conspiracy the duo stumble upon. Pegg is set to star and play Dave, but no further details were provided. I'm there, dude.
Yeah, sounds good.
Like, seriously,
good premise.
Simon Pegg has done. There's very little that he's done that I didn't like. Like a movie he did that a lot of people may not know about. It's called Run, Fat Boy, Run.
Oh, I haven't heard of that.
It's literally he's trying to win back his. It's another one of those win back your girlfriend thing.
Yeah.
But the way he's going to try and win her back is her boyfriend runs marathons. So he's going to run a marathon now. He's going to beat her boyfriend. That's the way he thinks. But the interesting thing is her boyfriend actually likes him. He's like he thinks he's a good guy. So he kind of is
train.
He's like egging him on. Yeah, he's like, come on, you can do this. Run, fat boy, run. You know, it's like he's one of those guys that almost everything he does is at least the parts with him are good.
I was about to say the best thing he has ever done was something that he did on Twitter, and he really set people up for this because he kept talking about his attic. He had moved into this place, and his dog just keeps freaking out and is like just sits at the bottom of the steps up into the attic and will just sit there and stare for hours or just bark randomly up at the attic. And he's like, "Yeah, I should go check that out." Yeah, yeah, people were putting, making comments like dogs can't look up, So he's been like, "Yeah, I'm going to go check it out," and then didn't touch his Twitter account for 3 days.
That's pretty freaking cool.
So people were like, "So what was it like?" No response. Are you okay? No response.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, that's awesome.
That's actually very clever.
He's a clever lad.
Dude, even the like he did an episode of Doctor Who during the I think it was the what's his name the one after Tennant.
Crap.
Yeah, and I'm blanking on his dude. I feel bad too because I'm blanking on his name too. Um, what the hell? Oh, I just did something stupid.
Oh, things got out of hand.
Yeah, I did something dumb again. History recently closed. Oh yeah. So I gotta open all my bookmarks again. I apologize for that.
Crap.
Yeah, I I boomered and I clicked a bunch of stuff again. Um. Okay, so on to a different piece of information, news. I'm worried about this. CBS exec confirms.
Picard.
Yeah, CBS exec confirms Star Trek Picard will be hybrid of Discovery and Next Generation. Okay.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Way to sell a product.
Yeah, cause this is the Kurtzman influence that's got me scared. Um, Discovery could be something very very cool. They actually have a pretty good cast. They've got a
Matt Smith, by the way.
Matt Smith. Thank you. Oh my God, I could not. I'm sorry. My nerd credentials are like slowly drifting away from me here. Um,
Oh,
but
and chili cakes, says I.
thank you. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, it's pretty sparse right now, but yeah, everybody that comes here appreciate it. Every person that shows up, we're happy to have
Very
you.
grateful for.
Very grateful. Please help us.
Okay, so Picard.
Yeah, so
Way
Picard.
To not push something.
I was so like the nostalgia when I watched that trailer, that first trailer, dude. It got me, man. Like it really did get me. But the more I'm hearing about the show and the more I'm hearing about how much influence Kurtzman has on it, it's really starting to scare me. It really is. Um, Disco is not great. Now, admittedly, neither was the first couple seasons of Next Generation. The first couple seasons of Next Generation had like you'd have a really good episode and then a meh episode, and then another good episode and then another meh episode. It was you could see the potential in the show. It wasn't until season 3 that it really started taking off. So a lot of people are saying the same thing about Disco. The problem with Disco is messing with the past and it's messing with things that have already been. And I've said this from the beginning. Going back in time with Star Trek is a bad idea. It was a bad idea for Enterprise, even though Enterprise I think is infinitely better than Discovery. But it was a bad idea then, it's a bad idea for Discovery. Now, to kind of and I think they kind of realized that because the biggest complaint about the first season of Discovery was you're screwing everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Literally
So yeah, you are
everything.
literally screwing everything up. And the reasons for why we've never heard of Discovery, we've never heard of any of the crew, we've never heard of Spock having a sister. The reason why they came up for it is freaking dumb. It's because they were ordered not to talk about it. Because Discovery disappears at the end of season 2, and because of the technology that is in Discovery, they're literally told, like, the admiral that's in charge, and he literally tells everybody, including Spock, who's like her adopted brother, apparently, tells them, "You're not allowed to talk about this ever. We're gonna scrub this from our records." But you just had a big freaking war where they were a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like it was one of those things you're like, oh my god, this hurts my brain. But they went basically like it was like 1,000 years or 3,000 years. They went like way into the future. And the reason they did is like, oh well, we could do whatever we want here and it won't hurt canon. And I'm like, well, yeah, the damage is kind of done. You know, it's
Okay, well, you went 1,000 years in the future. They're never coming back?
apparently,
Because if they come back, it ruins canon. And if you're 1,000 years in the future, what are you gonna do there?
yeah,
I mean,
it's
because that's pretty much like taking somebody from, oh, I don't know, like the 1700s and dropping them in next generation.
yeah,
And
it's
you're like, yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I don't know the logic behind it. I tried to. I stopped trying to figure that out. But yeah, not good. Um,
Not quality.
no, and the thing is, Kurtzman was part of J.J. Abrams' group,
Oh, well, there you go.
and that yeah, like I said, that kind of explains the situation. Uh, so my fear is they are going to Abrams up Picard, and I don't want him to do that. I just I really don't want him to do that. Um, it hurts my soul and it makes me sad. Um, yeah, it's like I'm trying to find the words to think about this to say something else about this, but I'm just like bummed. You
Yeah.
know, I don't want them to ruin this because Patrick Stewart's not going to be around much longer, guys. I mean, I hope he lives to be 100, but the guy's, I think he's pushing 80,
Oh, yeah.
isn't he? Let me double check and make sure here because he's getting up there. I mean, he's taking. I'll tell you something. The dude has taken really good care of himself.
Oh, yeah, for his age. I mean, he looks really good. I mean, the
79.
first thing that I remember seeing him in was Excalibur.
Yeah, that was back in the like what, 81, 82.
Although which 82 or 83, I think. But what was the other movie that I actually think was before that? Was
81. Wow.
Life Force.
Yeah, Life Force was after that. I think Life Force was like 83. Let me
Okay,
double.
maybe. Like I said, I'm not sure of what the time timeline.
1985. Yeah, 85.
85 on. Okay.
But yeah, the dude was like he was in stuff back there, man. He's been
Oh
around,
yeah.
he's been around for a while, and he takes really really good care of himself. But the thing that scares me is like this is gonna be the last thing that we get of him as Picard,
Yeah.
and if it sucks, it's gonna sour that. It's gonna be so unpleasant to think about this.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is like they like you watched the trailer, right?
Yeah, I've seen the trailer for it.
Okay, they really play up Data.
Yeah.
Okay, word's coming out now that Data doesn't really have much to do with it. So right there, I'm like, okay, now you guys are kind of pulling the same thing you did with Discovery. You kind of pulling a bait and switch here,
Yeah.
because one of the things I didn't like about the first season of Discovery was you had Michelle Yeoh and Jason Isaacs in the cast, and by the end, and pretty much by the end of the season, they're gone. So the show doesn't really have them in it. It's just kind of there. They're part of the story. Don't get me wrong; they are a big part of the story going through the show.
But they're not.
But they're not. They're not actually cast members. They're kind of like guest stars, and then they're going to be gone.
Uh-huh.
They're recurring characters. So the fact that they had all this stuff with Data, and it turns out that Data is not going to really be a big part of this show. That feels like a bait and switch to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not hoping for this thing to fail. I love Star Trek. I love Patrick Stewart. I want this to be good. Please, I want this to be. I need this to be good. But with Kurtzman's fingerprints all over it, man, I don't know. I'm scared. Okay, moving on to something a little more hilarious. Charlie's Angels actress Kristen Stewart claims she can communicate with ghosts. Yeah, that's the first thing that went through my mind too. Is like, what? Okay, so by the way, Charlie's Angels looks awful. In an interview with Vanity Fair, Stewart was discussing her 2016 role in Personal Shopper when she was playing a personal shopper for a celebrity in Paris and attempts to communicate with her deceased twin brother. When asked if Stewart believes in ghosts, the Charlie's Angels responded, "I talk to them." She added, "If I'm in a weird small town making a movie and I'm in a strange apartment, I will literally be like, 'No, please, I cannot deal anyone else, but it cannot be me.' Who knows?" What is this sentence even saying? "No, please, I cannot deal anyone else, but it cannot be me." What? This is like you're having a conversation with three different people. So I don't think she's talking to a ghost. I think she's just talking to her own head. Who knows what ghosts are, but there is an energy that I'm really sensitive to, not just with ghosts, but with people stay in rooms all the time. If I was a comedian, I could do so much with this. Earlier in the interview, while discussing her rise to fame via the Twilight series, Stewart admits she just wants people to like her. Stewart states, "I think I've grown out of this, but I used to be really frustrated that because I didn't leap willingly into being at the center of a certain amount of attention, it seemed like I was an asshole. I am in no way rebellious. I'm in no way contrarian. I just want people to like me." Pick better roles. Stewart will appear as Sabina Wilson in the upcoming Charlie's Angels film alongside Naomi Scott, Ella Balinska. I'm probably butchering that name badly. They will be joined by Elizabeth Banks, Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart, from what I understand, is in the movie for like 2 seconds. Noah Centini. I'm not going to even bother reading these names because I will ruin them. What do you make of Stewart's comments regarding ghosts? I think she's a twit. That's what I think. What were you going to say, Tom?
Well, two things. Zen Manga says hopefully it's good, talking about Picard, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Stewart was actually good in The Runaways.
Okay.
Because, I mean, she was cast really well for it. Because Joan Jett has that kind of, doesn't say a lot and is kind of, I don't want to say standoffish, but she doesn't she's not necessarily really good at engaging, except when she's angry.
Mm-hmm.
So Stewart actually, I thought, did a really good job of portraying her.
I've always said that there are roles for everybody.
Yeah.
There are like a lot of people talk about Brad Pitt and his success. The reason why he's successful is he knows the kind of role he can play, so he picks those roles. You know what I mean? There are actors out there who can fit a particular kind of role, and they can have a good career doing it. It's when they try to go outside of that when it sucks and when they screw up.
Yeah.
So if you know your role, it's just kind of funny. If you know your role, if you know your lane, stay in your lane, and you'll be all right.
Well, then there's also recognizing good writers.
Oh yeah.
Because there's something where you're stepping outside your comfort zone, but it's written really well.
Yeah.
and then you can work with that. I don't want to say necessarily that it's written for you, but if the writer knows what they're doing, knows what they're working with, then they can also have a big influence on how well you look because of the way they write.
Right. Um,
So,
well, case in point, uh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Um, there are people playing characters in that movie that I'd be like, I would never have expected them to be any good in this, and yet they are. Um, what's her name is Sharon Tate. She's actually comes off as believable as Sharon Tate. Um,
hmm,
the one the actress who played Harley Quinn.
okay.
Um, but they, again, like you said, it's creative writing, and then also Leonardo DiCaprio. Dude, he's playing a character that I'm like, how? Where the hell did this character come from? Like this character is like a caricature of every Southern drawl having Hollywood actor from the '70s, man. And when I think of that, I don't think about Leonardo DiCaprio, but he was dude he was really good in that movie. He was awesome. But so yeah, I get what you're saying, man. Hang on a second. But oh, what the hell? Anyway, we'll move
Yeah,
on.
where are you going, Rob?
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. My attention. I got people talking to me. I
Oh, okay.
apologize. So then this was another piece of information that came up. We're getting another Jason movie.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I saw something about this.
yeah, well, slices his way through an all-female cast. So writer and director Tom McLaughlin, who wrote the script for Jason Never Dies, confirmed the script sees Jason slicing through an all-female cast. It's unclear if the script will ever see the light of day, as the Friday the 13th franchise is currently in the middle of ongoing litigation between series creator Sean S. Cummings, Horror Inc., and Friday the 13th screenwriter Victor Miller. I thought this was already taken care of. Hmm.
Apparently not.
That's interesting because the video game I played the video game, and one of the reasons why updates and new content for the video game stopped was because um, a court found in favor of this screenwriter guy, this Victor Miller. So that's interesting. But nevertheless, McLaughlin has penned a script and provided details about what it will entail in a video with Bloody Disgusting. I haven't been to that site. No, what the hell? Did,
What?
did somebody die outside your window, Tom?
No, that was actually kind of far away, but
No, dude, I heard that perfectly.
wow.
Wow.
I mean, I have headphones on, so I didn't hear it that well. So,
McLaughlin confirmed the script sees Jason facing down a female cast. Now, look, a lot of people have been bagging this. This could be a good thing,
yeah,
you know? Um, yeah, I mean, I'd
it'll
like.
make it it'll make it a lot harder to pick out the survivor girl because you're not
um,
like, oh, there's only two choices. It's got to be one of them.
but the fact that I mean, this guy's writing a script. That doesn't mean that the movie's going to be made. For first off, because like I
Yeah,
said, the thing is in licensing hell right now. But yeah, I said this as okay. Well, this could be a cool little throwback to the '80s, man. When he just cut it. He didn't have to have a whole lot of script or anything. He just cut his way through people.
hmm
So, but it could be interesting. I mean, like I said, I mean, honestly, I don't think it's ever going to get made because the situation right now is nothing's going to get made. But
everything's in limbo.
so he said, I think I started doing a few more conventions. I kept asking the same question: What would you do? Would you do another one? And I started thinking, if I was going back into that world, what would it be? So first off, I wanted to keep it grounded again, so like I did my other one. We're at the camp and something occurs that takes us through it. I love the idea of Jason never dies as a title, and kind of playing off that a bit in terms of what caused him to come back again. Who are the people that he's involved with this time, and how many of them fight back? How many of them are just victimized? That's so he's pretty much saying exactly what you said. Like, you're never gonna know who the survivor girl is gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
But some people were talking about it, and my pretty much my reaction to this is, okay. It's like whatever, man. I just want a good horror film.
Get to writing, and we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, we haven't had a good friggin' horror film in a while. So hopefully we'll get one soon. And okay, so you ready for some more stupid?
More stupid. Should do my grr laugh there.
Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker theory sees Rey raise the Death Star from the ashes. Okay, time out. The last time I remember, the Death Star kind of got blown into tiny little pieces the size of lint.
Exploded?
Yeah, like there were no like these big chunks in this picture. There were no big chunks. That's kind of the way it started. This is supposed to be the second Death Star. I'm like, this is kind of the form it was in before it got blown up. And anyway, let's read this. A new Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker theory sees Rey use newly acquired Force powers to raise the Death Star from the ashes. The theory comes from Star Wars is dumb and predicts Rey will use the Force to raise the Death Star wreckage into outer space. The theory is inspired by newly released concept art of Star Wars: The Force Awakens from Doug Chiang. And probably butchered his name there, I apologize. As described by Chiang. Why am I saying Chiang? It's just Chang. Chiang. God, my freaking brain sucks. The image shows the Death Star 2 rising out of the deserts of Jakku. Again, there were no big chunks. Death Star ascending in the early days of Episode 7, we explored some wild concepts before we had a script. This was for a dream sequence of the Death Star 2 rising out of the deserts of Jakku. Okay, so at least it's a dream sequence originally intended. Not only is the theory inspired by this new concept art, but Slash Films' Peter I'm not going to pronounce that, revealed back in December of 2018 that the Rise of Skywalker will be influenced by concept art from Star Wars: The Force Awakens. If you want some hints about Star Wars Episode 9, you might want to revisit some of the early concept art from Star Wars: The Force Awakens. In fact, after the release of the first trailer of The Rise of Skywalker, he would point out he was discussing concept art that pointed to the ruins of Death Star. By the way, now that the trailer is revealed, here are some of the Force Awakens concept art images I was talking about. Force users lifting unliftable objects goes back to Empire Strikes Back when Luke Skywalker was training with Yoda. Skywalker attempts to lift his X-Wing fighter out of the swamp of Dagobah, but isn't able to do so. When Luke fails to lift it, Yoda tells Yoda it can't, it's too big. I'm not going to repeat all of this here. Yeah. Size does not matter.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Between you and the ship, it's possible a similar scene showcasing Rey's mastery of Force could be included in Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. That will set every friggin' person that hates the fact that she is a Mary Sue, that will set them completely off. If she can raise the freaking Death Star. Okay? One of the most impressive things that Luke does in the expanded universe, and he actually has help doing this, is he pushes a Star Destroyer away from a planet. But it takes the combined power of all of the Jedi at the Academy to do it. If she does this is like beyond Mary Sue here. We're getting into the ridiculous now. This is Dragon Ball Z stuff. In fact, in previews of Star Wars Allegiance prequel comic, The Rise of Skywalker, Rey is seen using new Force powers as she takes on some kind of giant alien monster that looks similar to an Ankylosaurus. Okay, Force pushing an Ankylosaurus or something like that, or hitting it with some junk, that's not a problem. I don't have a problem with this. This is, okay, this is cool. But picking this up? not only picking it up, but pushing it back into orbit. Come on, man. Come on, now you're getting ridiculous. However, maybe the biggest question of all that I have is how in the world are there even ruins of the... Yeah, exactly. Ruins of the Death Star, the massive space station appeared to disintegrate into oblivion after Lando Calrissian and the Millennium Falcon put it out of business in Return of the Jedi. Nonetheless, the first teaser for the Rise of Skywalker shows ruins of the Death Star, and there are huge chunks of it left over. What do you make of this theory? Do you think Rey will raise the Death Star? It would not surprise me. It would not surprise me in the least if this happens. I think it's stupid. But yeah, would it shock you?
It would. I mean, like you said, there are. It also depends on your definition of huge chunks, because I mean something that big, because it was almost twice as massive, I think, as the first Death Star.
Yeah, it was twice the size of the first Death Star. It was the size of a small moon. So think about our moon. Maybe a little bit smaller than our moon.
Yeah, it's the second Death Star.
Is the second Death Star.
Yeah, there could be large chunks of it left on the planet's surface. I mean, there would be, but yeah, just
okay,
chunks.
But why? First off, why would they be on Jakku?
Yeah.
Secondly, I don't think there would be chunks like the one we saw in the trailer, where there's like a quarter of the sphere.
It's like it's a couple kilometers across. Yeah, you wouldn't have anything. You could have something like that entering the atmosphere, but it's not going to soft land.
Yeah, but not only that, but when it blew up, it literally blew into tiny pieces. So I mean, I can imagine there being like this panel right here that I'm tracing with my icon.
Mm-hmm.
A piece like that, maybe. But a piece the size of like this whole chunk right here, like we see in the trailer, because you actually see part of the super laser, the super laser disc.
Disc, yeah.
Yeah, you see part of that. The chunk is big enough to have part of that embedded in it. And I'm like, you know what? But anyway, even regardless of all of that, just the idea of someone lifting the freaking Death Star into freaking orbit is stupid. Like that's like any argument about whether or not she's a Mary Sue at that point. Yeah, that goes out the window. You're literally pushing moons at that point. So yeah, no moss from me. But actually, let me get my window open here. So, oh yeah, this was another thing that I saw. There was a rumor that Namor will be the villain for Black Panther 2. Now, this is interesting to me. Because, if you know anything about the comics, they've actually been at odds with each other before. So, this is interesting. Now, I'm going to check the source of this. Given the rumor, next Black Panther movie would introduce the Submariner as the villainous opposition to Wakanda. This could very well open up the possibility of the Atlanteans and the Lost City of Atlantis to be Marvel's answer to DC's Aquaman. And someone posted this thing here. It was Black Panther. That the title of it is going to be Two Kings or something like that. Which I'm take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But the rumors only come so far. There has only been confirmation that Ryan Coogler will return to direct the sequel, as the first film was a huge success. However, as revealed at San Diego Comic-Con just a few weeks ago, the Black Panther 2 will not be part of Marvel's Phase 4 of the films. We could see this film as part of Phase 5. That's the thing that makes me think that maybe that's true, because this isn't being pushed out in Phase 4. So the earliest we're going to see Black Panther 2 is going to be like 2023. We're talking like 3.5 years at the earliest.
Hmm.
So they've got time to do, because if you're going to do Submariner, you're going to do Atlantis and all that stuff, you need to do it right. And that's going to take a lot of time, man. Not only that, but there were little clues that were dropped in Avengers Endgame where Okoye from Black Panther was talking to uh, Black Widow, and she said that they were investigating uh, a disturbance in the I think it was the Atlantic Ocean.
Hmm.
So that could be a little, because like they like to drop those little Easter eggs.
Yeah.
That might be the first Easter egg for this. And I'll tell you what, if they do, I'd be on board with this. This could be pretty cool. If they because doing Namor, I like Namor more as a kind of almost like a as an anti-hero than I do as a hero. So I saw this and I thought, okay, this could be cool. This could be really cool. All right, let's go back here.
Yeah, it could be interesting. Once
Yeah,
again, you gotta do it right. I mean, and if you're introducing him as kind of, like you said, the
yeah.
dark hero, not really, or anti-hero. Eh,
And what the heck? How did that happen?
would you lose?
No, it just pushed down. Now this is another. Now there's been a couple things released about the Crisis of Infinite Earths crossover that's going on the CW. Now I'll be honest. Again, I've pretty much stopped watching those shows. Um, After season three of Arrow, not Arrow, but season three of Arrow, I kind of went downhill from there. Season three of the Flash, I think, was the last season I watched the whole thing of. I'm just not really interested in him anymore. This has me interested though. Mark Hamill might play the Joker in the Crisis of Infinite Earth storyline. Now, the reason why
Hmm.
I think this is a possibility is because um, voice actor Kevin Conroy, who did the voice for Batman in the animated series, he's going to be playing he's going to be playing the Batman Beyond version of Bruce Wayne.
Hmm.
So we could get a version of the Joker played by Mark Hamill. Part of me is like, this could be really, really cool. Another part of me is like, this could really suck.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, he does a fantastic job of voicing the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd rather see him as the Riddler, actually acting the part, than just doing the voice. But that's me.
Well, he already plays kind of a Joker-esque villain in The Flash. He plays the Trickster, the original Trickster,
Hmm.
which he also played the Trickster on the original Flash show back in the 90s. And they did an episode of The Flash where they showed the Jake. He's from the Jay Garrick universe of The Flash. They showed him in that universe, and he was very Joker-esque in that. Very, 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 very Joker-esque version of the Trickster in that. So it's not a stretch for him to be a Joker, and if they do the makeup and stuff right, it could not. It could potentially be cool. Um,
We'll just have to wait and see.
yep. I'm probably gonna watch this. I am probably gonna watch this. Um, they're basically. I think they realize that they're starting to lose a lot of people, and they're trying to do something to really bring people back. And that's why they're doing this storyline and bringing Kevin Conroy in. They're having Tom Welling as the Superman from the Smallville universe. They're gonna have Brandon Routh as his version of Superman, but it's gonna be the older Superman from Kingdom Come. So they're doing, and was it, who else? Burt Ward is going to reprise his role as Dick Grayson from the original Batman show. Um, they're going all out. Oh, excuse me, but at the very least, they've done enough stuff to make me go, you know what? I'm going to check this out. I'm going to check this out to see if it's any good, see if it doesn't suck. So, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that they're doing. But I saw this and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool.
Cute.
Could be good. Now this was something that made me go, what? So DC a report: DC Comics might not have a future as part of Warner Media under AT&T. DC's future in the hands of the new Warner Media regime looks like it could be in jeopardy. Rumblings of this have been felt through the comic industry the past several months, and on closer inspection, the dominoes are falling and starting to add up. A few pieces in Forbes spell out the circumstances, and there are a few takeaways. For a start, DC got a back seat, a literal small corner at San Diego Comic-Con this year. In years past, they were normally been out in the open, presenting plans and upcoming offerings. More telling than that, DC didn't partake in San Diego Comic-Con independently. They were there as part of the greater Warner Media tent, one of many cogs in the machine, a prolific content creator, one of the biggest in the medium. In the media, they were once known as DC Entertainment. That is no longer the case. Disheartening as it is to the publishers, devotees, and the creative minds, this out-of-nowhere turn of events isn't without cause. Ever since AT&T acquired Media Warner, the telecom giant has not given a great deal of emphasis to DC's IP. When profiling AT&T CEO John Stankey, that's an unfortunate name, DC was never mentioned, and they seem to view the company as just another lifestyle brand among many they oversee. Stankey did discuss Greg Berlanti, the producer behind the CW's Arrowverse. I do not lose sleep at night worrying about our creative direction around here. Our challenge will be getting that great creative strength and marrying it with great technology and the ability to manage customer life cycles. If we can get that three-legged stool working, then we're unstoppable. This is a bunch of doublespeak that means nothing.
Yeah.
Doing no small part to debt concerns, AT&T views its new operation in terms of assets. The company incurred a new $85.4 billion amount of debt. Jeez. In acquiring Warner Media, bringing their total debt to $164 billion. My God. In order to find a way out of that debt, they are looking to monetize Warner Media as a whole entity, bigger than its constituent parts, to make that money back. I'm not going to read this whole thing. Consequently, certain endeavors were given priority over others, while executives were putting all their eggs in HBO Max's basket. DC's Vertigo line, Mad Magazine, and streaming service Filmstruck were all shuttered. Low revenue seems to be the reason, and this is the thing I think that they're saying that this is a potential problem because low revenue. DC Universe is constantly thought to be on the bubble, but is surviving for now. The worst sign it won't be around long or suffers a lack of faith by the brass is the cancellation of Swamp Thing. That's a whole nother story altogether.
Yeah.
A sudden decision from on high should shroud in mystery. It looks like a cost-cutting measure, mostly given all the above information. Comic sales are low and a small chunk of business as it is. On the publishing side, they rely heavily on reprints and relaunches, and it's the older books from 30 or 40 years ago that are doing better in the marketplace. Readers aren't hungry for the new stuff. A fact that publisher Dan DiDio admitted. This dude is one of the biggest problems in the entire company. He says this, but then he doesn't understand what this means. Basically, people are buying the comics from 30, 40 years ago rather than the contemporary ones, and that's a failure on us. Yes, it is a failure on you, so what are you going to do about it? We're just going to keep doing more of the same. I got a great idea. I'm going to shoot Dick Grayson in the head. That went over well. Idiot. And here's the thing, man. I've defended Dan DiDio as far as him being an executive. Because from what I understand as an executive, he's actually a pretty good guy. He's very supportive of people. When he gets involved in the creative side of things, it absolutely poisons everything. And then Rob Liefeld did this comment a few months ago. He said, "I ain't never seen a company in as much disarray as DC Comics. Thank God they have Batman to act as their Tylenol, aspirin, laughing gas. More Batman will fix it." um, DC is trying to generate interest in a line of teen and young adult materials published in a way that circumvents comic stores. They had a booth at Book Expo, their first appearance in there in years, to promote it. Though not tied to DC superheroes in times we know, it could serve as a solid revenue stream. Maybe. But I saw this, and I've seen a couple other reports, and this is just another one of those things that makes you realize these companies that bought DC and Marvel, they don't see them as comic book companies. They see them as IP farms.
Right.
They're IP farms. They're IPs to be used to make other things. Mm-hmm. They don't care about comic books. They care about television shows. They care about movies. They care about video games. They care about IPs that they can carry into the future. Mm-hmm. And killing off the print line, I mean, the way I've always seen it, the way I always expected it was going to go, is Marvel and DC would be reduced to producing like a handful of books, like maybe like their core books, like Avengers, Spider-Man, the Hulk, like maybe about 10 in-house books. Everything else is going to be farmed out. Everything else is going to be farmed out to other companies because they're already doing this with IDW. Marvel's doing it with IDW. DC's doing it with, I think it was Dark Horse. I can't remember. They just did a Batman and the Max crossover.
Yeah, there's been some crossovers with them.
Yeah, stuff like that. They're already doing that. They're already starting to do that. And I really think that that's the direction it's going to end up going. They're going to have a small handful of books, and the rest are just going to disappear because they don't care. All they want them for is to make movies and to make television shows and make video games. So these people, like Dan is here, you're going, I don't understand what's going on. I don't know what the... Well, that's what's going on, Dan. And the more you push your readers away with stuff that they don't care about, the worse it's going to get. Mm-hmm. But
well, when you turn away from your core audience, that's when it starts to fall apart. I mean, if you do a really good job and just, okay, comic books are going away, but all these characters are going to continue in these other genres, and these are the new platforms, and we're going to keep doing the same work that we did with them. Okay, that might work, but that's not exactly what they're doing. They're just kind of like, okay, comic books don't make us enough money, so we're going to drop them and or just push them to the side or just hold on to their licensing so we can do this other stuff and maybe we'll get some coin.
Right.
That's not the right way to go about that.
Yeah, and if you're trying to increase the sales of your comics to keep that from happening, throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks isn't going to work. You know what works.
Or if you throw stuff at the wall, if something sticks, then go with it, not just keep throwing more crap at the wall.
Right. It's just get real professionals out there. Get superstar artists on these books. Superhero comics are not hard to do. They're really not. Okay, we're not talking about the entire comic book medium. We're talking about superhero comics. We're talking about 4-color comics. Mm-hmm. People pick up superhero comics to read superheroes doing superhero stuff. They pick them up to read about these paragons being amazing. Okay? And mm-hmm. And yes, being tested, but at the end of the day, they're looking for something to be inspiring. That's
but what in order to do that, we have to go off on a 12-issue arc of inner examination and brooding, and no, just punch a bad guy in the face, please. Yeah. Just stop a goddamn mugging.
We need a 100-issue run on Batman by Tom King, talking about how depressed Batman is.
The things I've seen in the past 70 years.
My girlfriend left me at the altar, even though she's jilted me about a dozen times. It didn't matter. Today it matters. I am the knight. Yeah. God, man. Stop trying to turn superheroes into us. We have other books for that. That's what
Durkin's in.
Hey, what's up? I can't see the chat, so I apologize, but appreciate you being here. Thanks for showing up. Hit like and subscribe, share it out, help us out. We're failing badly today, man. I take full responsibility. I boomered this thing to death. I closed all the links and stuff that I had, and I'm struggling to get them all back. And yeah, I'm gonna fall all over myself talking about this. But anyway, now that I figured out the tech issue, man, that was scaring me to death. This is not so scary anymore.
But, it's like riding a bike.
Yep. All right, what else we got here? Evil Dead and Spider-Man actor Bruce Campbell doesn't like Batman vs. Superman or today's superhero movies. Okay, I'm always intrigued to see what Bruce has to say. I love this guy, dude, man. When me and Frank met him at Comic-Con, dude, he was so cool. He unlike other like normally they do like you go to their panels and they're doing like a Q&A. He was like, screw that. He's like, that's boring. And by the way, he's doing this whole thing dressed in like one of those Las Vegas shark skin suits, like the shiny, like almost Elvis like suit, you know. And so he decides to have an impromptu talent show. And it was one of the funniest things you've ever seen in your life, man. I can't remember the name of the guy. Some guy got up there and he was trying to become like a local personality, kind of like Goulardi kind of thing. And Bruce just tore that guy to shreds, man. The guy's like, he's like, hey, can I get a picture? He goes, sure. And then right before the guy could snap the picture, Bruce gives him the finger. Dude, you can actually find that talent show on YouTube. Actually, somebody recorded it. But okay, Evil Dead and Spider-Man actor Bruce Campbell doesn't like Batman vs. Superman or today's superhero movies. Cult horror actor and B-movie legend Bruce Campbell has been in his share of comic book films, making his name as a favorite of director Sam Raimi. Yada 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 yada. He even adapted his own comic, Man with a Screaming Brain, 2005, into a starring vehicle. Remember that? Wow, that's been a long time. But these days, Hollywood's current crop of dark superhero fare, high on CG as they are, leaves a sour taste in his mouth. Speaking with Gizmodo at San Diego Comic-Con, Campbell said particularly he can't get behind the likes of Batman vs. Superman, artisanally and intellectually. Batman vs. Superman is notoriously perceived as a mess by its critics. Yes, it is. And Campbell might be one of its harshest saying. But these guys who have this special superpower, to me, that's Snoresville. If you don't have kryptonite, then Batman vs. Superman. Stupid, stupid, stupid concept. Never should have been made. Superman can, like, make the world go backward with centrifugal force. Batman can't do that. Superman can freaking fly. He's the Man of Steel. All he has one hand on Batman's esophagus. The story is over. So they spent a lot of money kidding themselves. The concept is silly even on paper when considering Superman's power set, but Batman has been able to hold his own against the Man of Steel. Dark Knight Returns, which BVS is heavily based on, comes to mind. Superman Red Sun, which was an awesome fight. Mm-hmm. Superman Red Sun. I can't wait for that friggin' movie, man.
As long as they do it right, goddammit.
Yeah, as long as keep your fingers crossed. And Elseworlds Tale being turned into an anime film is another instance. However, the actor's problems with the Superman giant don't end there. He is not a fan of costume constraints placed on performers either, and he insinuates why he really might not have taken the role of Mysterio. Who would be? I was just telling somebody, actors like, oh man, I wish I could be in one of those superhero movies. Man, I'd love to be Mysterio. Let's do Mysterio. Okay, congratulations, you're Mysterio. Here's your costume, and you don't even take a leak in this costume. You've got a team for that. Don't worry, we've got tubes, things like that. So we're going to be in this uncomfortable outfit, and you're not really going to be anywhere. And then he goes on, tennis balls on a stick. That's a reference to Game of Thrones right there. Tennis balls on a stick. Mm-hmm. You're in the King's Castle. Oh yeah, you're on that chair painted green in front of a green screen, and the guy's right there, and you're looking at that castle exploding. Oh no, tennis balls on a stick. What are you looking at? So it looks to me like.
And Jarakin says, if you ever see him again, you should pretend to mistake him for Joxer the Mighty.
I'm going to pull a Captain America on you. I actually understand that reference. Um, man, freaking Xena and Hercules were such fun shows, man. They were stupid, but they were fun.
Oh, then
Um,
Xena got really weird and
it
bad
it
at the
did it
end.
it I you know what I actually stopped I stopped watching. I think 2 seasons before it ended
Good.
because like I
Yeah, the
stopped.
last two are just like, what?
Yeah, wasn't one of the
Uh,
wasn't one of them they actually went to like Asia or something?
I believe they did, but yeah, it really ended with Christianity and her becoming like the protector of Jesus. It was weird.
Yeah, because I remember there was I remember the thing with Caesar.
Yeah. Yeah, after that is when it really was just like, oh, okay, you guys ran out of like actual Greek myths and can't come up with anything else.
Yeah, because didn't they kill the gods off?
Yeah, that was part of the Christianity thing. She
Okay.
had to kill off the other gods. I was like, wow, that's just bad. So bad.
But then Bruce says, if you don't have any money to make a movie now, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You can shoot an entire movie right here, no light, not even those lights. So put the trick. So, but the trick is now is you have to tell a story because it's easier now. Actually, he's not wrong about this.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people if you live in Buck Crab, Kansas, tell these stories, tell a cool story from there. You don't have to go to Hollywood, get your camera from Kmart. We didn't leave Detroit, Michigan until we made 3 different films. Stay where you are. That's true.
Yeah.
Um, the first Evil Dead was like, actually the first Evil Dead was based off of a student film that Sam Raimi did,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird as hell. Um, but yeah, he's not wrong about this, especially not today. You can film an entire film movie on an iPhone.
Yeah.
In fact, that movie Chronicle, um, with Dane DeHaan and my brain hates me today. The guy who played Creed and Killmonger. I can't remember his name right now. Anyway,
Yeah.
but they were in that movie, and that movie was shot completely on an iPhone. Literally shot on an iPhone. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like he's not wrong about that. If you have a movie and it's got a good enough story to it, you don't have to have all the bells and whistles. You can just shoot the movie. The unfortunate thing is that if you try to take it to Hollywood, they'll make you pay for a bunch of crap you don't need.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you need 2 grips? Here's 10. But no, so these are interesting comments he made. I don't agree with him on the story element of Batman versus Superman. I mean, he's right. If Superman, like, it's the argument of if Superman didn't stop himself, he'd be pretty much unbeatable by almost anybody.
Yeah.
It's like you go see that movie Brightburn if you want to see what happens to anybody that steps to Superman if he has no conscience. You're just a bloody mist.
Yep.
Um, so that element isn't taken into account here, but yeah, if you're just talking straight up, who would win in a fight, there's no contest. But yeah, I thought this was interesting. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Kristen Stewart, I still can't believe she said that. I talked to ghosts. Tom,
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart sees dead people. This was an interesting one too. We already know about them changing Liet Kynes' gender. Apparently, they're changing his death now, as well. Now,
Wait,
if
who's
Liet Kynes,
who's
huh?
who's
Liet Kynes, um,
the kind?
from Dune,
Oh,
from the Dune
okay.
film. He's the guy who
Yeah.
he's
Yeah, the guy we're talking about last week.
yeah. Well, apparently they're changing his death now too, and his death in the book was one of the elements that people pointed to when they said that you can't film this movie, you can't turn this into a movie, because there's a scene in his death where he's talking to his father, is either his father or his grandfather, and like as he's doing this as he's dying, and he's talking and he's having this like discussion with his grandfather or his grandfather, and this whole thing takes place in his head. It takes place in like a second,
Yeah.
you know. So it seems like that everybody, when the first movie was being filmed, they're like, you can't film this movie. You can't turn this book into a movie. It's impossible. Which, and if they hadn't taken severe liberties with the story, they're pretty much right. Um, but his death was not. It has an effect, but not quite the effect that they seem to think it is in this article. His death kind of is like a trigger to the Fremen that that pretty much the crap has hit the fan.
Mm-hmm.
In this, though, it seems like they're going to try to use Liet Kynes, the gender swapped version, to be an influence on Paul himself. Let's go down here to it. There's a part where they talk about it. In major, in Dune, Kynes dies via a pre-spice mass explosion after refusing to provide information to the Harkonnen on Paul Atreides and his mother Jessica. Kynes is exiled into the desert, suffering from delirium, heat stroke, and dehydration. Kynes begins to see a vision of his father, who lectures him on how they can terraform Arrakis. While hearing this, his father, Kynes, notices he has stumbled on top of a pre-spice mass that is about to explode. However, he's too weak and too addled in order to escape. As the pre-spice mass explodes beneath him, Kynes realizes he might have made a terrible mistake. He hears his father tell him, "No more terrible disaster could befall your people than for them to fall into the hands of a hero." Kynes has done just that as he instructed the Fremen to take in and protect Paul Atreides. Not only does he realize he might have made a mistake, but he also comes to the conclusion that the principles of the universe were accident and error. This is a precursor to the story that comes later, where he realizes that if Paul becomes the emperor, it will eventually lead to the downfall of the Fremen people. Even though Paul may save the quote unquote universe from the rule of the emperor, it's just going to be replaced. Yeah, it's going to be replaced by something just as bad, if not worse. And and then again, like I said, this is like a scene that takes place, and this is one of the scenes that they said that couldn't be changed, that couldn't be done in film. And this is the new version. After the Harkonnens attack Arrakeen, Paul and his mother Jessica flee the city. They are rescued by Duncan Idaho and Kynes. Kynes informs them that she can offer Paul and Jessica safety among the Fremen. However, before they can escape to safety, as storm approaches, they are forced to take shelter in an ecological testing station, where Kynes informs Paul about her plans to see. She tells him about her plans to terraform Arrakis. She basically puts the idea into Paul's head of changing Arrakis from a desert planet into a paradise. While Kynes confides in her vision for Arrakis, Paul reveals his own plans to become emperor. However, as the two discuss their plans, a group of Sardaukar discover them. Paul and Jessica flee alongside Kynes. Kynes leads them to an ornithopter where Paul and Jessica flee. However, the ornithopter only seats two. Kynes goes her own way. As she exits the cave where the ornithopter was and steps into the desert, she witnesses the Harkonnens pursuing Paul and Jessica. As she looks on, she is stabbed in the back by a Sardaukar assassin. After being stabbed, Kynes tumbles down the sand dune and is pursued by the Sardaukar. As Kynes lies at the bottom of the sand dune, she hears a hiss of sand, and a giant sandworm emerges and swallows up both Kynes and Sardaukar. Kynes' final words are, "I serve only one master, his name is Shai Hulud." Basically, they're going to change the death to be more heroic. They're going to change the death to be more heroic. They're also going to change the character so that she is going to directly influence Paul Atreides, but rather than showing this bleak potential, like this disaster that's going to befall their people, she's going to be the impetus for him actually doing the terraforming of Arrakis. So they're completely cutting out the fact that this scene is a foreshadowing of what's to come, and what's to come is not good. So it completely changes the tone of, one, who the character is, and two, where the story's going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it kind of comes to, when you're doing this, do you want to Uh, see, how do I put this? You can do the short take of on the story or the long take. If you're only doing like this is a chapter. Here's an example. Alita. Are you going to take the short take on the story and just do okay, here she is. Uh,
The champion.
yeah, she has a backstory that you're just going to get pieces of, and she is going to uh, make it more about her falling in love and dealing with that. Okay, you're going with the short version of the story. Boom, there you go, done. And you can allude to more story, i.e., her backstory and the story going forward. So you kind of have an opening if you want to do something else, but you're doing the story and wrapping it up all in the first chapter, instead of going for the, okay, we're going to tell the whole book,
Okay. I see.
which you can do. And especially if you make sure that people know that that's what you're doing in the beginning, because then a lot of your foreshadowing, all the long goal stuff in a story, if you're like, no, we're just going to tell the first chapter, okay, you can then make some of those changes so some things will make a little more sense if you're only doing the first chapter.
Yeah. If their plan is to continue forward with this story, this is going to hamstring them. That's the thing that's the thing that I get from this is you're dumbing this down and you're removing this potential.
Well, you're just not having the foreshadowing.
Yeah.
I mean, which you can do without, because I mean, don't necessarily need that in a story. I mean, it can be nice and it can be, you know,
Well,
oh yeah, remember back then when there was this scene or this person said these couple of words or whatever. It's, oh, that was
mm-hmm.
uh you know now that's being carried forward.
The problem I have with this though is that if you're going to truncate it, then truncate it. If you're going to remove this, then remove it, like they did in the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like they removed this in the original movie because it was because they felt it was unnecessary. But here they're not just removing this; they're changing it. They're not basically they're not shortening it up. You know, they're just adding another. They're adding a different level to it to make this character come off as different.
Well, also it being Hollywood, their long term, if they are going to make more of these and continue on with it, they will probably shoot for the happy ending,
Yeah,
or at least give themselves that option if that's what they're going to do. So, yes, at the end of the story, everything is fine. He's a good emperor, and
and then
all the good guys get to live, and justice is served. You know,
but if you're gonna do a sequel, you're gonna have problems. It just seems like a strange move to me to do, and like I'm like, all right. I mean, again, it's one of those things where like I'm not looking for you to fail, but if you're gonna change something, you would think you would change it for the better,
oh,
especially.
and yes, uh, Draken, uh, yeah, Dune does have very specific gender roles in it.
Yeah,
So it is kind of weird that they are
altering
doing
that.
this. I mean, I guess it's okay, but yeah, it
Uh,
was a very patriarchal
yeah,
society.
yeah, and well, I mean, the thing is, like the race changing, I can kind of understand because they cast. I think that's pretty much being done because they casted Zendaya as Chani, which I'm like biting my nails on that because she hasn't proven herself to be a great actress. And I mean, don't get me wrong, she's pretty, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. But yeah, the gender change seems odd, and then the change to this almost seems like they don't want that character to have a depressing end. They want to give them a heroic end instead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I thought that was cool. And it's actually 7:30, so we're gonna start wrapping this up. There's a couple of other stories that were other people have pretty much gone into these and done a better job than I could today, especially today because I'm super distracted. And I apologize for that. Man, we were running all over the place today, but the ghost thing just keeps coming back to me, man. Just that first sentence she says, it's so nonsensical.
Rambling, I believe is.
Oh my god, man! I'm like, where is it at here? Yeah.
Don't even look at it again. It's not.
No, please, I cannot deal anyone else, but it can't be. My brain's looking at this going, I can't figure this out. I don't understand what this is supposed to say. Ugh, God. Have you seen the trailer for this movie?
Oh, I've seen two.
Ugh.
The one looked really bad, and the other one looked like, eh.
It's gonna suck, but it's not gonna. I'm not gonna see it anyway. You know what I mean? But yeah, no. The I've only seen one trailer and it looked absolutely awful.
Yeah, the first trailer, yeah, was not inspiring at all.
But yep. Okay, guys, that's our show for today. I apologize for the messy nature of it. I do want to thank all the people who showed up today and everybody that's going to watch this later. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. As always, you can find us right here every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you like what you saw today, please hit like and subscribe, share the channel. And the most important thing is leave a comment, guys. Please. It's going to help us get better at this. It helps us figure out what to do, where to go. And it's all greatly appreciated. So, Durican, everybody else that showed up, I appreciate it, guys. But till next time, I'm Comic Book Bob.
I'm Tom.
And we will see you guys next week. Well, actually, I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes. I'm going on Chester Bub's Beach channel.
E. Ortez says hello right there at the end.
Oh, okay. Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, sorry, dude. Everybody's kind of doing these boomer streams this week because we're trying to figure the tech out. I actually figured out something that completely fixed all my problems, and that was that Hangouts is still there. It doesn't automatically connect to YouTube anymore, and so all you gotta do is throw it into OBS and you're done. So, yeah, it's problem solved. And I was like racking my brain all week going, oh, I don't know how to fix this. But then I found out, because I thought that when they said it was going away, I thought it was going away for good. Like it was just gone. But anyway, thanks for being here, guys. I will see you guys later. If when we get done tonight, I don't know. I think the Chester's stream might run over a little bit. But if you're doing the bullpen tonight, man, I'm always down to be on that. So if you got a slot, throw it my way, and I'll see you guys later tonight.
Night, everybody.
Take care.